Welcome to the 384th episode of the So Video Games podcast, where we talk about any game at all, including new stuff, old stuff, and anything in between. If we are playing it, we'll be talking about it. Today we are recording on April 13th, 2024. My name is Brad Galloway. I am the editor of GameCritics.com, and I'm also 50% of this year's show, and it is a full 50% today, because with me is the man who's only got a very mild case of rad poisoning, Carlos Rodella.
Yeah, I'm just shaking it off with some Radaway, and I'm going to be okay.
Radaway.
That's what it's called.
I know. Welcome back, buddy. You were not here last week. You were on a special assignment, and I guess you were on assignment in the Wastelands?
I was, yeah. It was something we'll talk about on this show, and it has to do with Fallout. But yeah, I was kind of lost in that world, and I'm back, and I listened to the show. So I listened to the solo pod.
Good.
And I enjoyed it. And I have some thoughts.
Okay.
On some things you said.
Sure.
But we'll talk about that later.
We'll get to those in a minute. Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it's good to be back.
It's good to have you back, sir. All right. Well, Carlos, we have quite a large number of games to talk about. We got a bunch of other stuff to get to. I say let's just dive right into it, if that's okay with you.
Let's do that.
All right, folks. As you all know, Carlos and I share a virtual living space divided down the middle with a strip of duct tape. His side, my side. Things are a mess, so we're going to tidy up right here and right now. It is housekeeping. Carlos, I've only got like one tiny ass little thing on my side. It's been a slow week for deliveries. What do you got on your side of the room this week?
Oh my goodness, so much.
Really? Okay.
So very, very much. Wait, before we get into that though, what was the thing that I disagreed with you on Twitter about the episode? Now I'm forgetting.
I don't even know what we're... Oh, you mean last week's...
Last week's pod, I said, I'm trying to look at my Twitter...
You said you had thoughts on some of the questions and answers that I did in the first section, and also thanks again to all the listeners who sent in those questions. That was amazing. We had like a lot more questions than I was expecting. It was really fun to go through those and answer those. I really enjoyed that. So if you liked last week's Q&A episode, go ahead and send them in anytime through the Discord, which is now free, or Twitter, or email, or anything. Get in touch with us anyway.
But it was about a game you liked, and I was like, how'd you like that?
I said I liked Sandland. Was that it?
Oh, that was it. Exactly. I don't know how you could have liked that, so I guess I won't take it to task fully, but you enjoyed the gameplay?
Yeah, I was like, I don't understand what you didn't like about it.
What?
It was like pretty straightforward. I mean, Sandland being the game from Namco Bandai coming, it's the new game based on a property by, what's the guy's name who died, the Dragon Ball guy? Akira Toriyama.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I don't know the show's story. It's an anime. We haven't watched it yet. I keep meaning to watch it. We keep putting it off, but people in a desert looking for water, vehicles, I don't know, survival, whatever that whole thing's about. We'll watch it soon. And you talked about the demo, and I wasn't able to talk about the same show because I couldn't download it. I forgot about it or something like that. So I played it on the week that you were not here, and I remember you talked about you didn't like the demo because you felt it just felt clunky or something, or the controls didn't jibe for you. Was that about right? Or you want to recap real quick?
Yeah, it was just boring. I didn't like the gameplay, and it was just an open, random desert where you just kept doing the same gameplay that I wasn't having fun with. I just felt like I was tracking down the enemies, and I was like missing them because I was driving right by them. And I don't know how you couldn't have felt that, because that's like all I did was drive past enemies and shoot them.
That's funny, because I didn't have that problem at all. But, again, this is the demo. So, again, demo. We don't know what the story is or how much setup or what quests we're going to go on. This, to me, felt like just a mechanical demo. I didn't feel like it was very representative of the whole experience, right? And so that game's coming out pretty soon. I think we're going to be covering it at Game Critics. I'm pretty sure we are in line for a review code, and I forget who's covering it. Somebody had called dibs on it. We had actually quite a few people call dibs on it, so it seems to be generating some interest. But when I played the demo, you had your on-foot section, which is like your main character. He looks like a little devil or something. You had the tank, which controlled like a tank. You had the motorcycle, which to me was just like basically not really a combat vehicle, but more of a transport vehicle because it was the fastest and most nimble. And then you finally had the mech suit, which felt just like controlling your character on foot, except for you were like 5 times as big and you were like a big bulky mech suit. So I thought it was fine. I mean, I only used the motorcycle when I was traversing large open stretches just to go fast. Whenever we had combat, I switched back to the tank, and the tank controlled just like a tank. So, treads, turning, you had the turret turning, you had the cannon, the machine guns. I mean, it was just like exactly what I would think a tank would feel like. And then whenever there was a big monster or something, I would hop out and do the mech suit. And the mech suit was okay, but it felt a little bit too much like the main character, so it wasn't super interesting. I was hoping for like more, I don't know, like I didn't even know what I was looking for. Maybe just something slightly different, but it was fine. I had a lot of fun. I was like just driving the tank and shooting dudes and going to the motorcycle and driving around. I mean, I guess you didn't like it, but what part was it you just didn't like?
Wow, we don't need to make the whole episode about it, but I just feel like I didn't enjoy missing enemies, and then like I just felt like I'd rather be on foot. And
well, how are you missing though? Were you just using the motorcycle the whole time?
No, I used the tank. I feel like I guess when the tank you have to kind of sit still though. You know what I mean? You got to be you can aim and you don't really drive. I mean,
that's
and
what
shoot.
That's what a tank.
That's what a tank does.
I hate to be this guy. I don't mean to be this guy, but when this comes up, I have a son. He's going to turn 15 soon, so he is 14. And he's got lots of attitude. He knows everything. He's great at everything. He's basically invincible. And whenever we have an issue like this, wherever I complain about controls or wherever I say something, he says, Dad, it sounds to me like it's a skill issue. So, Carlos.
Oh, nice.
I think this sounds like a skill issue.
I don't know if it does. But here's the thing. Even if it does, I just realize and are re-realizing I don't like tank games. Well,
maybe that's it. Maybe you just don't like tanks.
That's it, yeah. So I don't like tanks. I won't like this demo. I was surprised to hear you say that. Either way, let's move on. I did like the episode though, and then the III Initiative showcase happened. Of course, 8,000 showcases happen, so we can't catch them all. But I do watch most of them.
Yeah.
And III I love. I mean, I worked for a company that was considered III. I love that in between space where developers aren't huge; they're kind of medium size, and they produce a bunch of really good games. We have that could be a whole tangent episode. But in that showcase, a couple things of note. One, Vampire Survivor is coming to PS5, which is cool.
Is it not already on PS5?
It isn't, yeah.
What the hell? I thought that was on everything.
That was their trailer, I think. Or maybe it was on PS4. And no, I don't even remember seeing it ever in the store.
Wow.
I think it's the first time.
I love Vampire Survivors, but I feel like that's already old news. Like, we've already kind of moved on from that. But
well,
great game.
Here's why you don't have to move on, because they also announced alongside that Contra DLC. Which is very interesting because it was just like guns. It was just like all guns.
Yeah, I mean, cool. Vampire Survivors is a shit. That's amazing.
So you might check it out. They had another look at Flintlock, which I actually liked the idea of for a while. It has some Souls-like bosses in it, third-person action-y adventure RPG.
Is this the one
game.
that has a black woman main character and she's kind of like a jumping acrobatic, but she's also
she got the acrobats and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
And it just looks like the Souls stuff in it. Like I said on the show before, if there's any bonfire action where enemies reset, I won't play it. I just won't.
That was your vow.
Yeah, it's my vow. So let's hope, because the action looked really fun. So the other thing I want to mention and tell everybody about, I love the game What the Golf. We talked about in the show, I'm sure.
I mean, we must have. I think I've played it, and I don't remember talking about it, but I'm sure we probably did.
Well, I really enjoy it. I like all those kind of wonky Donut County, all those kind of games.
Sure.
It feels the same way as that game. They just they announced What the Car, and it's a car, but it has feet and stuff. It's just ridiculous. But it's a demo out right now, so you can play that. I love when they do drop a demo.
That's fun.
A new Cat Quest game is coming, which I love those games.
Yeah, I know you were all in on those.
I can't believe they already made a new one, though. Like, holy crap already. And then Streets of Rogue 2. So I don't think we talked about it on the show.
We talked about it briefly, and I don't think that I connected with it. Did you like that one?
I don't like it being a rogue-like in that way, but I like its procedural generation GTA. It's like a GTA top-down, old school 8-bit graphics kind of game. And I just like the mayhem that it causes. I think I had the first one, and so they just showed the second one. It was more, it was more of what it did well. So that kind of interested me. Anyways, a bunch of other stuff was shown. Check it out on YouTube. III Initiative.
Quick question before we leave this topic. I was talking to somebody over at the Gaming in the Wild Discord. Shout out to those folks over there, great folks. And they were saying that the III, one of the main themes that kept coming up with the conversation was that there were too many Hades likes. Was that true? Like, was there like a whole bunch of games that seemed to be trying to get in the Hades zone?
In the III?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if things like don't click with me, I just kind of like, zone out.
Gotcha.
So I think there were a bunch of games that were kind of like, oh yeah, I've seen that before. But I kind of just space out and do something else, and then kind of like my ears perk up when something I like. So
gotcha.
There might have been. Yeah.
Just wondering. All right. Cool.
One quick thing, Electric Playground is putting up throwback episodes. So they're literally putting on, like they already did, episode 1, and then just starting from the beginning. And why that's actually kind of cool is 2 reasons. One, history, just seeing like.
Well, for those of us who don't remember or don't know, remind us what or Electric Playground is.
Electric Playground, an old show, like, and was it the 90s, I think? And basically just covered gaming from the very, very beginning. Like, think old X-Play or something like that. And,
like a TV show.
Yeah, TV show, but also internet. Like, they went to internet pretty quickly. And he's still doing the show. What's his name? Come on.
Adam Sessler?
No.
Who?
Oh, my goodness gracious. And I should have done this before the show, but I'm doing it now.
Oh, no.
Oh, my goodness. And I've met him, too. It makes me feel like a terrible person. Victor. So Victor Lucas and Tommy Tallarico created that show in the beginning.
Oh, okay.
And, it's just fun to watch because of, A, history, and B, they have been doing it as long as I've been doing, like, old school game coverage on games journalism, my GameSpot days. And so some of it's like memories that I had. I'm like seeing some of these things that I went through. So it's just kind of fun. They're putting them all up on YouTube. So check it out. Electric Playground old school episodes.
Do you just search for like Electric Playground on YouTube, something like that? Or
yeah, Electric Playground. You'll find it. They're like making a playlist of all the throwback episodes.
Okay, cool.
This is okay. We'll leave it with this because we have too many games to talk about. I have other stuff, but this last box, it's just kind of a weird thing, and I can get your take on it.
Sure.
So some YouTube video somewhere said there was a report that came out. I don't know where the report's from. Sorry. That said 60% of people are playing games that are 6 years or older.
Oh, I haven't heard that. Interesting.
And it said, the whole YouTube video was like, people aren't playing new games, ? But I don't know where that article came from. I don't know what the report was, but that seems crazy to me. But then if you put it next to things like Fortnite, Call of Duty, all, these games that people just continually play, GTA Online, then it kind of makes sense. But can that be real? 60%? That's like crazy. 6 years or older.
I'll have to look that up. I hadn't heard that, which is interesting, but honestly, that doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, I think you do have your games as a service games, which is, that makes sense. I mean, Fortnite was a while ago, GTA Online or like whatever. And so there's a certain portion of players who only play like one game a year. I mean, that seems weird to us because we're like on the way other end of the spectrum, but I do know that there are some people who are just like, oh, I've got my game and that's what I play, which is cool. And that works for you. That's great. But also I think what we have to consider is that, the economy of like America and the world is just going to shit right now. There's a lot of people who don't have enough money. And I could easily imagine people who are just like picking up those, super, super discount sales on Steam, or maybe they bought a game at a GameStop, like, off the shelf that was like discounted or anything. I mean, a lot of people don't have money for games, and games are a luxury, and games are fucking expensive, and they're only getting more expensive. So I could easily see somebody who maybe saved up a bunch of money, bought a PS5, which is already an expensive purchase, and then they're tapped out. Like, just not everybody has that kind of money. So that would make sense to me.
But not new console, because 6 years ago was 2018.
Sure.
So
or maybe they're still rocking their PS4 or the
That's what
360.
That's what I'm saying. There is I think it's just, again, we're on the fringes, playing every new game ever. And a ton of people in this country and the world are playing old games. And that's what that report really says.
Yes. Okay. So actually, you're just reminding me now that I'm thinking about this. Okay. So like one of the, so my wife just hired somebody at her job, and we did the interview process, and I was helping her out with this. I kind of work as a contract worker and support my wife sometimes. And we were talking to this person who was very cool. And it turned out that her main console was, I shit you not, the Xbox 360. And we interviewed her last week.
Oh, shit.
So there's a person who, had a job, went to school, had a life. I think they got a daughter. They're doing things and they love games. They were able to name off a bunch of games. It wasn't like they were just like, oh, I love games. Pac-Man is so great. Or my last game that I played was Pong. It wasn't one of those things. Like, you could tell this person actually played games for real. But when we did a little bit of investigating, because we were like, oh yeah, we play games too. What do you play? They named off a bunch of 360 games. And I'm like, my head did a little flip for a second. And then I'm like, are you talking about 360? And she's like, yeah, I love it. And I'm like, oh, wow. Okay, cool. And we didn't do any kind of shaming or anything like that. It was nothing like, we were just like, there you go. Real life example of a person who loves games, in games, plays games weekly. A little bit of dabbling on PC, but like their main jam was the 360.
And on top of that, add in, look, what I kind of alluded to earlier, global. Yeah. Because in other countries, you just can't get certain systems, right?
I'm sure that if you were in a, different country where we don't get imports all the time, or maybe there's some kind of trade restrictions or anything like that.
Yep.
Maybe your access is pretty limited, dude. Who knows? So that makes sense. I mean, I would love to read that study and dig further into it because that sounds pretty fascinating to me, actually.
I'll find the source and I'll let you know.
All right.
And then right before we go, there's one last thing I got to mention because this is like definitely on par for like what we talk about on the podcast.
Okay. There's
another report that came out. I'm just like full of reports.
You are Mr. Report, dude.
No sources though. Bad journalism. There was something about flicker rate, and it came out that certain humans, like all of us as humans, have a flicker rate for our eyes.
Oh, I heard about this. Yes,
like it's a trait, you know.
Yes.
So, and I was thinking this. Maybe that's why 30 frames per second bothers me. Maybe I have 120 hertz flicker rate. You know,
maybe
like
that's so. Yeah.
That's like a real thing that might be the thing. And they said I don't know if they had that discussion about how you can get that tested, but I'd like to get it tested. But it does make sense because when we talk on the show, I go 30 frames like flickers in my eyes. I feel like something's in my eyes. Like I hate it. Like it's bothering my eyes.
I go, I don't know what you're talking about.
And you go, I have no idea what you're talking about. It's fine, you idiot. And I go,
I did not call you.
You didn't say idiot. But you know what I mean? Like, and it really does bother me. So I wonder if that's the reason.
I mean, that sounds probably true. And the example that I heard about this was the fighting game community, right? So I like fighting games. I've always liked fighting games. Maybe less so now that I'm older, you know, married, got a kid. I don't have the time to devote to it. But I used to like fighting games like a lot. Never was a professional. Like, I'm not boasting or anything. I just like to play them, you know, Tekken, Street Fighter, whatever. Enjoyed them. And one of the things in that community is frame counting. So like when the games start getting very technical, like, you know, oh, you need to cancel your move, but you need to cancel it by the third frame of the animation. I was always like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? How can anybody fucking count the goddamn frames of animation? Now, if you're talking about one of the older school games where it's like 4 frames of animation for Ryu throwing a Dragon Ball, okay, yeah, I can count that. I can see that. But like these newer games where someone's like, oh yeah, like, you know, cancel back on the 4th frame and then we do this other thing, wait for the count 6 frames forward. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What? So maybe that explains it, right? Because I've never been able to count frames, not in that way, not to that degree, but I see people talk about it like a real thing all the time. So maybe there's a correlation between if you're a really excellent fighting game person and your eyes have the frame counting ability.
Yeah, there you go. It's just this kind of like unspoken thing that we haven't really been, you know, knowing about. So
along the same lines, this is not game related, although kind of game related, but I'm hearing more and more talk lately about people who have been, I don't know, I guess diagnosed with autism or people who identify with autism. Apparently, there's a very high incidence of those people being able to hear electricity being conducted in their house, and it really bothers them a lot. And so they can often hear things that other people can't hear. Like when your TV is running, you can hear the electricity going through it. And I can hear that. I can totally hear that. But I don't have autism. I don't think I do, or maybe I do, but I don't think so. And
interesting.
But like when lights are on, I can hear it, and not just like the really loud fluorescent lights or whatever. But sometimes you can just hear it running in the background, so I can hear that. So that's another weird, I don't know, super ability that humans have that maybe not everybody has.
Dude, you know what that is? This is hilarious. That's your spider sense, because all the technical gremlins that attack you, you need to know where they're at all times.
That's a self-defense mechanism.
Yeah,
probably.
because you built it up over the years of it like screwing you. Like
Probably
technology
so.
There's a Twilight Zone episode, which by the way is in the end of the show I'm going to talk about, that has about a guy who is like against machines and they all like kind of come after him at some point. So that might be you.
Maybe. All right. Anything else?
Let's get to our throwback games.
I got my one thing real quick.
Oh, one thing for you.
Here. Just real quickly, just wanted to give a quick shout out to Helldivers. I know you kind of fell off a little bit, Carlos, but my family is still playing quite a bit, and we're playing at least daily. And they just dropped a brand new battle pass, which has some explosive stuff in it.
Yeah.
Pretty cool medium range gun. That's all right. A bunch of junk too. I should get rid of the junk because I don't find it very valuable. But you know, like new emotes or something, I find those to be pretty low calorie. But they also had new ship upgrades. So when you go to Helldivers and you collect the samples, and then you bring the samples back, those samples are used to upgrade your ship abilities, which means like you can call down your stratagems faster, or your stratagems will be more potent, or the one I just got was like your turrets have 50% more ammo when you drop them, so they last like 50% longer. So those are pretty cool. Unfortunately, they're all like the really high level stuff, so you have to be like in the top 3 tiers of difficulty to get the super samples, and super samples are really hard to find. So I was only able to access one of those because I just had enough supplies on hand. But after that, now I got to like get the rest of my family up to the top tier, and then we got to grind for those. So anyway, those things are there. If you want to keep playing some Helldivers, keep improving your ship, get the new battle pass. It's all there, and they're slowly but surely adding some more stuff. What I really want now is vehicles. I'm dying for a fucking vehicle. I need, there was an APC in the original Helldivers. There was a motorcycle. I think there was at least one other vehicle that you could have. And like, man, I really want those vehicles so bad. And I'm starting to see wreckage in the levels of wrecked like Jeeps or like little cars.
Oh yeah.
So they did that before they launched the mech suit, right? People were seeing wrecked mech suits all over the landscape. So I'm hoping that means we will start to see an announcement for a Jeep or a buggy or something where it'd be so fun. Like one person drives and 3 people shoot out of like mounted turrets in the back. That would kick ass. It'd be so fun.
Yeah. Or you're me and you just drive the car by yourself because you're a solo player.
Or that too. Or you could just stand on the gun turret and not move.
Yeah, nice. I like I like how they introduce stuff in that game. Again, like I say before, it's like an MMO where you see things and then they show up in the game. That's really cool.
Exactly.
I jump in here and there, and it's not like I'm not playing it, but I have so many other things I'm playing.
Sure.
But I definitely made some great TikToks. Well, great is in quotes. Made a lot of funny, interesting TikToks from it. And the last one I did is, as you know, when you leave the map, you're deemed a traitor.
Yes.
But I've gotten a whole like pattern down that I can dodge all the bombs. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you know that, but I can.
Oh yeah, you told me you were kind of using it as an offensive maneuver where they try to kill you.
Oh, that too. But I mean, like I can get outside the map now because
because
I know how to dodge them. By the way, here's the pro tip for anybody who wants to be a traitor in Helldivers and you want to get outside the map because it's interesting out there. Is you just go left, right, and it's a timing thing. So the bombs are going to drop and they're going to try to hit you. But if you keep moving your character left, then go right, then left, then go right. As you're going forward, you confuse the bombs.
Gotcha.
And so anyways, I get to the edge of the map. I got to the edge of many maps. And most of them, of course, aren't really there. There's nothing there. But it's funny to see like the low textured, land mass. And then I jump off the edge and it's just water.
Yeah.
And it's nothing down there. But another one looked weirder and looked kind of interesting and fun. But yeah, made a couple of those.
There you go. Pro tip from the
Pro
man who
tip
knows.
if you want to be a trader and see water and like weird texture maps.
There you go.
Okay, let's go back to some other games we've been playing.
Yes. We are going to get to the main portion of the show. Before we do that, let me just quickly remind people you can help support the podcast by going to patreon.com/the So Video Games Podcast. Every little bit helps with the cost of hosting and sometimes upgrading the equipment when necessary, etc., etc. However, rest assured that whether you contribute or not, we will never paywall any content or any episodes. You're going to get the same great show free of charge every week because we love you. But while we're on the topic, I do want to give a shout out to our newest Patreon member, Steve Brown. Thank you so much, Steve. Really appreciate it. Every dollar counts. Every dollar is appreciated.
Thank you.
It's going to go straight into the show, so thank you so much. Also, we do have a Discord. We've talked about it before in the past, and if you haven't caught it lately, we have made it free. So any listener who wants to join is welcome to. Just send us a message, and you can come join us and continue the conversation after the show. Just shoot us an email, and we will send you the invite details ASAP. So hit me up or on Twitter or whatever, or send it to the show email, which we'll get to at the end of the show. Come on in, join the Discord, talk about stuff, and it's a good time. So all right. Cool. Let's get to the main portion. I think we're going to kick it off this week, Carlos, with some circle backs, meaning that, we're still playing some games, chipping away at some games, but it's not really enough for like a whole segment here. So we can just touch on some stuff really quickly.
Yeah.
Why don't you start us off? You had Dragon's Dogma 2 listed here. You want to circle back on that?
I do, and I want to put a spoiler warning right now. And it's for you too, so I don't know.
Oh, snap, for me. Okay.
How much I can tell. Maybe you have to stop listening for a while.
Okay, so hang on a second. Let's
get your earplugs. No, I'm just
basically, but what are we going to be spoiling? The ending, or is it a mechanic? Or
I want to talk about a little teeny section of the ending. I think it's really important, but it's also a shock. I don't know.
Maybe it's too soon. Maybe it's too soon. I know a lot of people maybe.
Okay, I'll talk vaguely about it.
Okay, vaguely. So vague spoilers for vague spoilers. Okay.
And you're going to be okay with it? I know, because when are you going to ever play this game? Like,
I mean, it's on my list. I'm definitely going to play it this year. So like,
okay, this is.
I'm going to step away. It's
really?
Now 11:4. Yeah, it's 11:44.
Oh my goodness, this is adorable.
11:40.
We've never done this on the podcast before.
I hate it. I hate them.
Wait. So I won't do it then. You stay.
I can just step away for like a minute.
No, it's not that big of a deal.
Okay.
I'll say this. I went through, and I think it's not really much of a spoiler, the fact that there might be multiple endings to this game.
Sure.
Is that okay to say that?
I think that's
okay.
Perfectly fine to say. Multiple endings, everybody assumes that, I'm sure.
And also, this is something that I think is well known, that after you finish the game, you can do like a New Game Plus. Okay?
Sure.
Right?
Pretty common.
So this is me dancing around the topic, and later this year we'll talk about it because I can't say what I really want to say. But those two things are things, okay?
Yes.
And after I had a really good time with it and beat the game in my way, in my ending, which I took a picture of, put it on Twitter, blah, 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 I learned of other endings.
Okay.
Let's just say that, okay? And I was like, oh, maybe I'll go back or whatever. So, again, without saying anything, I went back and did some things, and it seemed like it was going to take a long time, and it was this huge thing.
Like you went back to a previous save, or you started over,
say,
or what do you?
I can't say.
Okay, don't say.
Brad Galloway, I can't say.
Don't say.
But I had to go back and do some things, and it was very interesting, and I was like excited. Okay.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my goodness. And then it was difficult, and it was going to take way too long. So I'm here to say that I'm finished with Dragon's Dogma 2 because my ending is canon. I've decided.
Sure. Which is how you usually roll.
Right. But it's just like it was so shocking and so very, very interesting. This is me non-spoiler saying
Appreciate
that
it.
the other things that can happen in this game are fucking cool. And even though they're so cool, it's a lot of work. And so I go, cool, I'm good.
I mean, that's what YouTube is for, right?
Yeah, well, no. You'd have to experience this.
Okay.
And you'll know when you want to talk about it. But
all right.
I'm just saying that I'm done with that game. I've moved on. I have plenty of other games I'm playing. And my ending is canon ending. There you go.
Okay. We will definitely talk about it. I will definitely play this game before the end of the year. I'm so backed up with stuff right now. I got to start clearing some stuff off my plate, and it's all really good stuff, and I can't just kick it. So I'm like quickly as I can getting through these other games I want to roll credits on. But I will definitely get to it before Game of the Year time for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Like Game of the Year, you'll have it wrapped, right? And then you and I will do an episode where we can talk about this thing I'm not saying.
For sure.
Because it's very cool. All right.
Okay. Excellent. Good. Anything else?
What do you have? No, that's my only.
Okay, just my two really quick circle backs. I talked about Spaceland last week, where it's the turn-based kind of XCOM style game on the Switch.
Yeah,
coming from the people who did the Braveland series
which
that you
talked
about. Yeah, I love those too. I just want to mention really quickly that it exists on Switch. I don't know if it was you that told me. Somebody told me that there was a bunch of DLC. Did you tell me that?
I was talking about Braveland a lot. I don't know if I was talking about the Spaceland.
Anyway, I went back to Spaceland. I bought it a long time ago. I didn't finish it. I got like really far into it and then got busy with review responsibilities. But I loved it. It's really great. Small scale tactics, fits well on the Switch. Very much like an XCOM style game, but simplified, and it just works really, really well for like handheld. Great mechanics, great characters, great play. I love everything about it. It's really, really well done piece of software. But I'd never finished it. I always wanted to, and somehow we were talking about Braveland, and so it got me thinking about Spaceland. Went back, started playing it. Yep, still fucking awesome. And now there's like this giant DLC, which I didn't know existed. It like basically like triples the size of the game, which is kind of cool because I do like 1 or 2 levels a night. So just having something to chip away at is really nice. It's a really good chill game. And so there's new characters, new storyline, whole new content, and I'm just really excited about that. So if you like XCOM or Lamplighter style games and you got a Switch, I mean, it's on other platforms too, but I feel like it feels like it's made for the Switch. Like it feels so perfect for the Switch. Great text size, great character size, great map size. Just works really well. So Spaceland is awesome on the Switch, and I give it mega thumbs up. I'll be playing that now, chipping away at it. I'm sure I'll talk about it again later.
Tortuga Team.
Tortuga Team. They killed it with Spaceland. It is so good.
Well, they killed it with everything they do. It's so nuts that like every one of their Braveland games is cool, including the new one and Spaceland. Yeah. Go check it out.
They are some unsung heroes over there at Tortuga Team for sure. The only other quick circle back I want to do is I want to just quickly touch on 40K Chaos Gate Demon Hunters, which I've been talking about for, I don't know, like a month now. It's a huge game, and, you know, just long story short, it's another XCOM style game in the Warhammer 40K universe starring the Grey Knights, which is a famous faction within the Warhammer lore. I got off to a bad start with it. I got about 15, 20 hours in, and I just could not figure it out. It was so hard, and I had to restart the whole campaign. I read some Reddit threads, and I watched some YouTube videos, and I learned more about the game. And so I will say the game does not explain itself very well. But once I understood, like, the secret of how you were supposed to play it, which is I have a problem with, but we'll get to that later. Some other show. I went back, restarted the campaign, and now I'm like, I feel like I'm 3/4 of the way through the campaign. I figured out what was the problem. I figured out how to get past the difficulty curve. And I got to say, sorry about that. I really enjoy it. I think it's really well done. I think now that I'm almost done, I think I may end up doing a full written review on it, which I don't normally do these days because I'm too busy, but I feel like I kind of have to. I think this is a great addition to the canon, the 40K canon. I think it's a great game. It just doesn't do itself any favors by being kind of so obtuse with a lot of these really important mechanics. So once you do that, I think it's great. And I've had some pretty amazing boss battles. Some really creepy shit happens. And I think the story is really strong, strangely strong, unusually strong. So 40K is not really known for its stories, but in the last 6 months, we've had 2 40K games that both really, really focus story very heavily. And I think they both do it successfully, this one and Rogue Trader. So anyway, I love Demon Hunters. I grew to love it. I learned how to love it. I wanted to love it and I got there. So it's good. I think it's really good. You just need to do your research beforehand. And again, I wish I would tell the developers to do some things differently in the beginning to kind of open it up for people who just who are not already in the know,
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm still loving it. I'm definitely going to try to roll credits on that one, and I will announce something when I finish it. So there you go.
So Video Games Podcast, subtitle of the show, also a Warhammer podcast.
Also a Warhammer podcast. The last couple months it sure is. Okay, so those are all the circle backs we have. Let me just hang on to the conch here and keep talking just really briefly about a game that I played on the Switch, if you don't mind, Carlos.
Hang on to the conch?
Yeah, I think it's from Lord of the Flies, isn't it? Where
I don't know. I've never heard of a conch.
It's like a snail shell, the big shell that you blow into, and it goes the bugle sound when you blow it. In that book, they had a talk. I think it was a conch. I'm pretty sure it was, where they passed it around. Whoever the conch was able to talk, and so they would take turns talking by whoever held the conch. So,
okay, well, the conch is all yours.
Okay, thank you. So StoryBlocks The King is a very small game that I just played on the Switch. PR sent me a code. Thank you very much. So basically, I don't know quite exactly how to explain it, but there is a story mode, but there's also I hesitate to call it a puzzle game, but I guess it is a puzzle game, where you have literal blocks that you have to string together to get from point A to point B. It looks like an abstract level floating in the sky. And when I read the description, I was like, oh, am I putting blocks together, and is that changing the narrative, or is this, is it possible that the way that I assemble these blocks will change what happens? That sounds pretty interesting. Let's sign up for this. Yeah, no, that's super not what happens in any way. Not even close. So basically what happens is you get this abstract level floating in the sky. There's a start point and an end point, and sometimes there's a midpoint that you have to hit. You have a certain number of blocks. And so far, all the blocks are just shaped like really fat, chunky Legos. And so you kind of just line them up. And I didn't even understand the point of it at first, because I beat the first level, no problem. And then I got to second level and I was stuck. And I'm like, what is going on? I don't understand these mechanics. What am I supposed to be doing? You have to use up all the blocks. So it's not enough just to connect them. You've got to use every block. And you can have no leftovers. And that was what I was missing. They never said that. So I was like, oh, easy. I'm just going to connect these up. Boom. And then it didn't work. But I eventually got there. Anyway, it's just like the same shaped blocks that you connect in a line. And all you're doing is figuring out how to get from point A to point B. There's not a lot of variation to it. It's not even really that interesting. And the big disappointment was when you finish a level, you just get some text. It's not like the blocks that you chose had any effect on the story, or at least not that I saw anyway. So I did a couple levels and I'm like, oh, this is not even remotely nearly as interesting as I thought it was going to be. It's just kind of this weird block lining up puzzle thing that isn't super exciting. And the story just is kind of slapped on top of it. So I bounced pretty quickly. It was not what I was hoping for, and what is on display here isn't very interesting. So I think it comes from a small team, and kudos to them for getting a game made. And I know that's really hard and all that stuff, so cheers. But yeah, this one did not cut the mustard for me.
All right.
There you go. All right, Carlos, over to you for Terra Memoria. We got a code from the developer or publisher for this, so thank you for that. And honestly, I don't know anything about it. It was in the list of games that I had offers for, and you picked this one out yourself. So I guess tell us about it. What was exciting about it? What drew you to it? And then where are you on it now?
Well, the marketing did a good job of saying it's a cozy RPG.
Okay.
That'll get me in anytime. I kind of like and don't like the game at the same time. I think what they do and what they built is... it's a pixelated graphics kind of game where it's that remember Octopath Traveler?
Oh yeah, you got like your flat 2D sprites, but then they kind of got this more fleshed in world or something in the
Yeah, and a little bit
background.
of depth of field going on
Yeah,
and stuff. So it's a little of that, probably more sprite based. And it's about where you control multiple characters. They all have their own kind of like, vibe and skill set and stuff like that. And it starts off, I haven't played all the characters yet, but it starts off where like you're the mage, you're running around town, you have to do some things. Then you're like the wizard lady who's a fox lady. I think so far almost all the characters are animal-ish. Oh, no, they're not all animal-ish. Some are, though.
And like anthropomorphic style.
Yeah,
animals,
there's
I mean?
anthropomorphic people, but there's also people. So it's a mixture.
Okay.
And yeah, the first person you start off is like a rhino person, anthropomorphic rhino man.
Okay.
But he's also a mage, which was kind of interesting because I was like, oh,
Does he
I thought
cast spells with his horn?
no.
Be cool if his horn was his wand.
Okay.
Little star on the tip of his horn.
Yes,
That'd be cool.
that would be cool. I just thought he could be the melee character, and have him be the mage is kind of fun. It's like they really do mix and match their characters, and
They're breaking expectations.
Yeah,
man. You would
unique
think this guy
ways.
would be the brawler, but he's the smart guy.
exactly. In the very beginning, you kind of learn combat. So what the game takes place as, it's a very story heavy game, and you kind of like controlling characters to, there's a long story and a lot of lore, but essentially there's this town, they're all out of crystals and you're trying to help the town out. And the first thing you have to do is stop these raiders that are coming into town. But you control different characters for different things. In the beginning, you're this mage, and it teaches you the turn-based combat. So there's turn-based combat, but it's that kind of combat where it shows you an order of like when people attack. And
So you know who's going when?
yeah, but you can
Gotcha.
do the thing where like if you attack smaller attacks, you can go more than one time because it's like a little ladder, type thing. Or like, I don't know if it's a ladder, but it's like a row, and you can see the enemy on it. And if you
Sure.
attack like two small ones, you can do it before the enemy attacks again. That kind of a thing.
Got you. Sure.
But then after that, after you do some combat, you do construction. So it's a sort of crafting thing where like I had to construct like a barricade so the raiders wouldn't get in. So then I was moving a thing around like in space, like to built the barrier and then I had to place it down. So I wasn't expecting to do that in this kind of a game. So that is part of it, and there's like puzzles with that kind of stuff as well. And then you play a new character, and then you do open up new pieces of story, do more turn-based combat, then learn new crafting abilities. So it's a mixture of, I think it's really focused on the story and these kind of characters who do crafting and cooking and things like that. But then they each have their own unique abilities. It does seem relaxing. So here's the pro is that it's like, I was like, my blood pressure went down, right? Like
That's a big pro.
yeah, I played it and I was like, oh, just take it easy, take it slow, find a new character, learn their abilities. There is a run button, which I highly appreciate. So you're going around town, you can kind of run if you want. And yeah, it's just kind of like a relaxing thing. And the only con would be that it was a lot of lore and a lot of things to kind of learn right at the beginning.
A lot of reading.
A lot of reading and trying to figure out what this place was and stuff and what genre this game is, because it's kind of a mixture, adventure, RPG, crafting game. And so I guess the con is really more like a little bit of confusion, because I was like, I don't know where's my investment level, because there's so many characters, there's so many different, like, they each have their own, what's it called? Motivations.
Yeah.
So I'm a little confused on how to get my hooks in. That's what it is. It's like the hooks aren't in, but at the same time, I turn it on and I have a relaxing time. So that's the shortest review I could give it. I know, and I need to play more of it. But it's comparable in its turn-based combat. It doesn't like blow me away. I don't think it's trying to. And its crafting and cooking, like puzzle-y construction stuff, is cozy, like they said. But again, it's not like jumping out and I need to finish this next mission.
Right. Well, I mean, I guess that's kind of the appeal of cozy games in general. I mean, I don't play a lot of them. I'm not against them. I just haven't really played a lot of them. But it seems like, in my mind anyway, a cozy thing is something where maybe you can come back to it, leave it, come back, and it's, not high demand, and maybe it's just easy to come back to. I mean, that seems to me kind of like what you might look for in a cozy game.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, I think we're talking about it right now, and I'm like, oh, yeah, it could be fun to go back like later tonight, just craft some new things. And,
Yeah.
and you're definitely like moving pieces around, which is funny because you do that a little bit in Fallout, which we'll talk about later. So you remember how you do it in Fallout, and these games where you craft something and can move it around in 3D space, right?
Like in terms of like the building the town, like your shelter, or structures and stuff like that.
It's got that vibe, like totally.
Okay.
And like doing it with crops, you're doing it with like walls and stuff. So that is a chunk of this game. It's a big chunk of the game, I think. And then at the same time, you're doing like combat, and at the same time, you're learning some story stuff, and you're exploring. So yeah, it's just relaxing. I'll say that.
I mean, that sounds pretty good to me.
It is. Yeah, it's in the world of games that do need, especially you and I, have to put their hooks in us and make us want to like finish it,
Yeah.
It's harder. But
well, that's a good point because, I've actually been encountering that a few times lately where, and maybe this is true, you can correct me if I'm wrong, or I guess confirm it if I'm right. But, I notice that there's this habit sometimes, and it's usually more with indie games than it is other larger studio games, where they're really in love with their idea and their characters, and I get that, but they have spent more time and they know who they are. And then like when they make their game, they tend to do like these giant like lore dumps, and they expect you to kind of like share that same enthusiasm for those world and characters, but you can't because you're just learning about it for the first time. And like when they do these lore dumps or these like long exposition or this like a bunch of stuff to get through, it kind of seems like maybe what you're referring to, where it's like, I don't know that I want to commit myself to read all this stuff and learn all this stuff if I don't like the game first. So maybe get me to the game part, and then once I have a connection to the gameplay or the character, then my brain is more willing to like absorb some of your lore or whatever. So I mean, is that kind of how this comes off? Is it a little too thick at the start?
Well, it's not that it's thick. It's just that it's a lot of different things. And remember, like they're making you switch characters, right? So you start as one character, then all of a sudden you finish a mission and you're doing another character. So it's just a lot to take in, I think.
Okay.
And again, ADHD world that we live in, which is not a slight at all. I'm not even like making light of it because I have a portion of that. I think we are in a society that is part of our makeup, with the way that entertainment does things. So it's harder. But that being said, that's why it's a flip, double-edged sword review, because that's what this game does. It doesn't let you go fast. It's like, hey, just chill out. Like, go explore and craft and learn new things. But to your point, yeah, there is quite a bit to like understand about this world.
Gotcha.
Like I'm a fox person. Wait, why am I a fox person that does magic? Wait, why am I a rhino that is the best mage in the world? Yeah, it's just asking questions and what do capes mean? Because capes mean something in this world, and like it's a lot. But
all right. Well, that is Terra Memoria, cozy RPG, and I do think they missed a trick by not having that rhino horn be the wand. I'm going to talk to the developers about that. Yeah, that's a miss.
But it's a recommend too. Like I think it's yummy.
Good.
Yeah,
it does sound pretty good. So, all right, moving on. Let's stick with you for just another second here, Carlos. You had Secret Game brought to the agenda, which you are wont to do every so often. I do not know what this game is. You didn't tell me beforehand. I'm hearing about it for the first time, just like everybody else. So, what is this secret game you're talking about today?
Space Invaders.
The original one?
I'm just kidding. Is there a remake? I'm just kidding.
I was like, I believed you. I was like,
I know.
That's a very Carlos thing.
Retro game. No, it's yet another fantasy title.
Okay.
No, that's the name of it.
Oh, that's it. You got me.
I got you.
You got me, you bastard. That's what it's called. Yet another fantasy title.
Yeah, the developers got you because they did it.
Man.
They're the people who made Rustler, or some of the people who made it. Remember Rustler was GTA Horse?
Yes.
Yeah, which you're not a fan of.
I'm not a fan. I had a lot of technical problems with it, so I can't even say that I gave it a fair shake because Rustler ran like shit when I tried to play it.
But you're also not like a Bard's Tale guy, right? Like a comedy RPG. Like I feel
it's
like
hard to do.
It's
hard to do. And I will say, full disclosure, I didn't even know this game existed until just now. But like when you name your game yet another fantasy title, my guard is already up because I'm already bracing for poor humor.
And this is another double-edged sword review where like parts I really like and parts are silly and kind of broken. So, the title, it's right on the nose. You couldn't get more on the nose.
It is so on the nose, it is up the nose.
GTA Horse is pretty on the nose, but they had to change that name to Rustler.
Right.
And I played Rustler and had an okay time with it. It feels the same. I saw yet another fantasy title in one of those showcases, and I was like, yep, I'll get it because I want a new Bard's Tale type game and to work. Even Bard's Tale didn't work fully. Like I played that for a while and I did nope out. It's hard to do comedy and RPGs, but man, oh man, I keep searching for it because I play all
when they
the
work,
RPGs.
they're great, but man, it's so hard to get them to work.
So
it's
hard
real
to do.
difficult. Yeah,
I think I'm always thinking about Earthbound in my mind because they did comedy and RPG,
which is the gold standard for you.
I think it is. So what is it's top down. It looks just like Rustler, chopped down, 3/4 view, small little character running around a world, fantasy world, similar to Rustler in the fact that it's comedic, kind of in tone when you meet people. You can do like action combat, which is like dodge roll, which the dodge roll is not bad. It's a little slow, but they have one. And you have your attack, you have your guard, and you're basically just attacking and dodge rolling. And you pick up health items to bring your potions, your health potions, but you can't like use a health potion. So it's very much like smash barrels, get health potion, then you're okay. So say you're surrounded by a bunch of dudes or monsters, you got to be looking for those barrels. So that's a little tricky.
Gotcha.
And not super fun sometimes because then you're like, I'm just screwed. I just have to like do good at combat right now because there's no health potions near me. Don't love that. I don't love that.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a good mechanic.
Yeah, but they make it, I guess, in quotes, easy enough that like there's easy mode, there's normal mode, hard, whatever. But even on normal, it seems like there's quite a bit of them around. So that's the style of gameplay. Again, like Rustler, you can get on a horse. It's got the GTA element where cops can come after you, which are, medieval type patrols.
Are they knights or something?
Yeah, they're like knights. And
Okay.
you can do the thing where you go to like, the pit stop, the horse pit stop, and change your horse so that they don't recognize you.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, they got that. And then they have, some stuff from Rustler, but then they have the fantasy element of like, the whole, in quotes, funny thing of the story is you start out as a regular person and there's a person, the chosen one, who's supposed to like help defeat the big dragon.
Sure.
And he confronts you and you have a dragon mask on. And so he thinks you're the dragon, which, come on.
So he's not that bright.
He's not that bright. And he attacks you. And of course you have to attack back and you kill him. And then you've just killed the chosen one, which is not great. So they're supposed to do this huge festival and you're trying to like make things right because they're supposedly gonna, celebrate the chosen one and he's dead.
Right.
So that's how it starts. And then the idea is that you're doing all these little side missions and trying to figure out like how to get the situation taken care of, but also like at some point you will have to fight that dragon because there are actual bosses and stuff like that. That's it. The map is huge, pretty big map, and you go around and you can like just do everything you would do in an RPG, like fight mini bosses and find places and stuff. But it's very limited. So the pro is that it does a lot of the stuff Rustler did, and it's kind of fun. That's not much of a pro, but
so kind of like a top-down, sort of a GTA-ish,
top-down,
but magical theme, fantasy theme. Okay.
Oh, and even though you're in quotes warrior and you have a sword or whatever, the magic's huge in this. Like it's an important part of it. So you start learning new spells, and the first spell's like lightning, and it really makes a difference. Like you need to use it. So it's like you're basically a magic / melee person all the time.
Okay.
And so the biggest pro, and why I'm just talking about it, wanting to play it later tonight, is it's just fun to play. Like it's fun. It's fun as shit to play, and then you do enough stuff, and you get to see some comedy, maybe.
I mean, my question was, has it been funny though?
Yeah, no, that's the con.
Okay.
The con is not like laugh out loud funny, or not even like,
man.
but interesting. Like killing the chosen one's fun. Like that's fun.
All right.
To me, okay.
Yeah.
And then, and I don't want to say this. I'll say, I think some of the writing might be lost in translation, that kind of thing, which we encounter a lot on the show.
Yeah, I think they're from a European developer, I believe.
Yeah, European developer, or sometimes Asian developers can have issues, with translation. So I think some of that happens too. And if you have some of that happening and you're trying to do comedy, that's going to be tough.
That's tough.
That's it.
Just to touch on that real quickly, I speak 2 languages. And when we are in the interpreting field, one of the hallmarks of being able to really master a language that is not your first language is when you are able to be funny in that language. That's like the hardest thing to do. So when you're learning, whether it's Spanish, Japanese, sign language, or anything, until you are intentionally funny in that language, you can't say that you've mastered it. So that's a really challenging thing to do. And if you're going to be in a foreign country and you're going to like translate to English or English translate to a foreign country, that's challenging. You got to have like an amazing translator to do that work for you, to capture the jokes, to capture the humor. It's very tough. So I understand what a challenge that is.
Also, Kay, what do you hablo? Because as you can see, I hablo Espanol like
very well.
Muy
Yes,
bien.
very well. Well, ASL, American Sign Language. It's not English.
Oh,
it's
got it. Okay.
Completely separate language. So
yes,
I am.
It is a language.
I am funny in ASL. I have mastered that. I'm national level interpreting.
See, okay.
There you go. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough to be funny in a foreign language. That's how you know you're good. And translation is tough. So if people scamp on the translation and you're trying to be funny, that can really bite you in the butt.
It's just tricky. Like some of the dialogue has been difficult for me. Not even just like not funny, but like like hard to understand.
Hard to understand.
So,
oof,
man, at the same time, both of my reviews so far have been double-edged swords because I still like the gameplay, and I keep hoping for like a funny moment because some of the character art's kind of cool too, and I like being a melee and magic character too. So there's stuff to like there for sure.
Yeah. Maybe you're gonna have to just like console yourself with like the mechanical funniness, like you said, like switching out your horse.
Yeah, exactly.
To throw off the cops. I mean, that's kind of mechanically funny.
Oh, and other things. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. No. I was just like maybe that kind of thing instead of written jokes, but just like the things that you do perhaps might be funnier than the script.
Well, kind of going back to Streets of Rogue 2, that is like the fun comes and the funny comes out of like the insane emergent gameplay.
Right.
So this happened today. I was playing it this morning actually to remind myself, and I got off my horse accidentally, and a cop was chasing me, in quotes, cop on his cop horse, and I got on his horse accidentally. I really didn't mean to, and I just took off like in GTA, and it was faster. Like his horse was
he had
like
a better horse.
like
That's
a cop
funny.
car, and I just kept his cop car. I kept his cop horse.
Okay, so that's kind of mechanically funny. I get it.
By the way, Cop Horse, good podcast name.
The podcast name that we're going with, which I didn't tell you about, sounds like a skill issue. Is what I'm going to go with.
Okay, can you do like AKA Cop Horse?
Cop Horse.
That's the longest title ever.
If I can fit it on the homepage, I will.
Oh my goodness, please do. And the last thing is, I also, and this is not something I'm proud of, but I was attacking monsters near my horse, and I definitely did nick the horse, and it died.
Oh man!
And it like started squirting blood, and it fell down, and it was really horrific.
Septic infection. Terrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, anyways, I still recommend it. Weirdly enough, even with some of the issues.
Is this on PlayStation?
Steam.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Excellent. That was yet another fantasy title. Let me talk for a minute here about Stacklands. This is I guess it's a genre. I don't even know what you call the genre, but apparently it's a growing genre. The stacking genre, I guess. People were talking to me about it, and they talked as though this was a genre, and I believe them, but I just hadn't really thought of it as being a genre because I haven't encountered many like this.
I haven't either. Wow. Okay.
But basically, I'm playing it on Switch, and it's on PC as well. I think it's definitely more suited to PC. But what it is it's one of those games. I don't even know how to even describe it. Like you're looking at the Switch screen, and the Switch screen is like a play field. Like imagine it being the top of a table. And then you get some cards at the top of the screen. There's like a couple packs of cards that you can buy when you get money. You open up a pack of cards, and like literally you open it, and then you get these cards, and it's like berries and rock and dirt and stuff like that. So you put them down, and the action of this game and why they call it the stacking genre is that you take your character, who is just like man or something. He's just like a little like a cartoony stick figure kind of guy. The whole aesthetic of this game is like really lo-fi, simple line drawings and stuff. They're not leaning into graphics at all. And so you take the guy and you put his man card on top of like dirt card, and then he'll like dig a hole, and like you'll see a little progress bar on top of the two cards now that they're stacked. And then when the progress bar is over, it'll be like the cards will come apart. He'll go back to being man, and it'll be like hole. Or like you'll see a bush, and you put the man's card on top of the bush card, and then the progress bar goes. You wait for him to be done, and then he'll get berry. You get a berry card, and then the man will go back to being like a man or something. So any action you want to do is happening by taking certain cards and putting them in a stack. And if you have cards which have an interaction, then the magic goes off, and you'll see a little progress bar, and whatever happens, happens. So that's kind of what you do.
By the way, I love this already.
Okay.
And I'm not to jump on top of your review, but it looks 100% made for Steam.
Yes.
with your mouse, like
Yes.
just flying cards around.
Yes.
And I'm just like watching the video. It reminds me totally of a board game, like an actual fucking card
It is
game.
very much like a board game. And what this reminds me of, and I think the only other stacking game I've encountered was Cultist Simulator. We talked about that a while ago, and it's got the same stacking mechanics, and it's got the same, like, stack a bunch of cards, wait for the progress bars or the cooldowns, kind of figure out which card goes with which, and then hopefully you get a good interaction. This feels very much like Cultist Simulator, except for not nearly as obtuse as that one was. I like the idea of Cultist Simulator, but I hated playing it because it was just like this miserable experience. So this is not as miserable as that, but I do feel like it's difficult. So, okay, my first difficulty was this game is 1,000 fucking % not cut out for Switch.
Yeah.
There's way too much stuff going on the screen. Everything is way too small. Text is way too small. Cards are way too small. You can zoom in on stuff, but like it's just a pain to have to like zoom in and everything. This is just not meant to be on Switch. This needs to be like on a PC with like a decent sized monitor and your mouse. Like that's how this is supposed to be played. So I appreciate that they tried to bring it to Switch because I like options and I respect that. But this was like, you should have taken one look at this and been like, nah, brah, this ain't working. This is not a Switch game. It's not. It's miserable. It's terrible on the Switch. I hated it. Everything was way too small and just difficult and just yuck. It was just not a good experience mechanically. So beyond that, I don't know. Maybe the stacking genre is not for me because I just like putting these cards on top of each other and then hoping you got the right combination, waiting for something to happen. I got to a point, and it was very early on, I did not get very far in this game, where I just couldn't figure out what the combination was supposed to be. And I'm just like moving cards around, and I just don't get it. And you die in this because you have a timer, and every so often you've got to eat a certain number of foods. And if you don't have food, you die. And so I ran out of food. I couldn't figure out what I was supposed to do. I'm sure someone in the listening audience is like, you idiot, it's so simple. You got to do X, Y, Z. Maybe so. But it just didn't appear to me, and I'm not super familiar with the genre, so I didn't really quite know what to do. And then I died, and I tried again, and I did the same thing, and I died again. And I'm like, okay, I need some help here. Like, I don't get what's going on. I don't know how to progress this. And I started looking up some tips, and like people were like super advanced on this. They were like, oh man, there's like a boss, and there's all these sorts of things you can do, and you get these other like these 3 cards together, and they make this weird thing happen, and the fun of it is putting these cards together. I'm like, cool. Like, I believe you that you're having fun. Number one, you're probably on PC. Yeah. Number 2, you probably are more familiar with the genre than I am. I feel like I'm not getting a lot of help here. And number 3, like I played it a couple times, and every time you die, you go back to the start, and it's like just doing this over and not feeling like I'm making progress and not feeling like I have a grasp on it was just not very fun and welcoming.
Yeah.
So between that and the mechanical difficulties of playing it in handheld on the Switch, I was like, okay, this is not a good experience. I don't enjoy this. I don't understand it. I don't like it. There's probably some good there, but maybe the stacking genre is just not for me, perhaps. So
I get it. And yeah, it doesn't seem like a Switch game. Also, I'm intrigued by this genre more than anything, right?
Yeah.
Like the stacking of cards. But I also, the minute you said like you die if you don't eat, I wanted to be out, because that really can turn us off for a game.
Yeah.
So that part's tricky.
Honestly, I feel like if I hadn't kept dying, I think I would have kept plugging away at it, and I think eventually I would have figured it out. I'm sure the developers listening to this and thinking I'm just like the dumbest person ever, and maybe that's true, but like, it just didn't click for me, and like having the pressure of having to get the berries out quick enough so the guy could eat to not die was like, I don't want that pressure right now. I want to I want to experiment with this a little bit. So anyway.
Especially with it, real quick, the last thing I'll say is the aesthetic of it is so simple and kind of cartoony that it reminded me of when you first started saying it. Why I said I'm in is because it reminded me of Scribblenauts.
Very similar to that kind of like visual vibe, yeah.
And then also with like stacking is like in Scribblenauts, you would like write something down and it exists, it appears or whatever, right? So like this concept, what I see this game being is no death and just being like weird combinations, like, oh, person plus house equals now he has a house or something. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
There's fun to be had in the genre, I think.
Yeah, I think there's probably definitely a lot of fun here, and I just couldn't find it, and I fully admit it. It wasn't popping for me. I wasn't on the same level as this, and the frustration of dying and restarting was like a little bit more than I wanted. So yeah. I'm sure that a lot of people seem to like this one. There was plenty of message board messages, plenty of stuff written about it. So it seems like people really like this one, but it just wasn't the right game for me at the right time, and I just had to put it down. So
right, I still want to check it out.
Yeah, check it out, man. Definitely PC though. Definitely PC for sure. That was Stacklands. We're moving on to Final Fantasy 16. So Carlos, you came back to this game after, I guess tell us why you came back to it, and then tell us why you are back to it and how this is going.
I had just beaten Dragon's Dogma 2 with my canon ending, and I want another RPG because I'm crazy and I need all of them. And I had started that game. Remember, we started it and talked about it on the show.
Did you not finish it?
No, I did not finish it.
Okay.
Final Fantasy 16. In the number one reason I didn't finish it, which is a lot of reason why people didn't buy it or probably noped out as well, is because unlike 15, which is just a hoot, one of my favorite games, and unlike 7 and 7 Remake, which is also fun and just like you just want to keep playing because it's like addictive and colorful and crazy and Final Fantasy esque. Final Fantasy 16 is the Game of Thrones version of Final Fantasy, meaning that it starts super dark, it stays super dark.
That's right. Okay.
And it has like really Final Fantasy esque things, like huge monsters fighting each other, and you controlling the monsters, and over the top, moves you can do. So that's still in there, but the combat is weird and different, like wildly different, and I'll tell you how. Which Final Fantasy does. They switched up their combat.
Oh, they changed it up. Yeah, they do. Sure.
But it's not the best, as in like it doesn't feel like even 7's Remake and Rebirth, where it's just like fun to do. This one's like kind of a chore at times, unless you know exactly what buttons to hit. And then secondly, there's a lot of story cutscenes, and you can't like quick skip them, which makes it go slow. Mm-hmm. And then you put all these things together with it being a downer, and it's easy to see why people would nope out, like including me. I needed another RPG fix. I just beat one. So I was like, okay, I know I had spent like 20, 30 hours in this game. Let me go to see where I'm at. Went in. It took some time to like get back to acclimated to know how to do the combat, which if you don't remember, it's real-time combat, but you're doing tons of magic. So it's like actually like yet another fantasy title where you have to do magic. So you're doing your sword hits and you're like juggling enemies, doing all that basic shit. But you're always hitting change to new power, do electricity power, change to new power, do fire power, do fire combo. So you're always doing magic. And so once you hit that stride of it, which is why, by the way, I played a lot more of it, it is really fun. And you're like, oh, bing, 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 bing. And then you just beat, all the monsters. So I got back into the combat and enjoyed it. But I was also getting tired, like literally sleepy, because some of the cutscenes are so long.
Oh, wow.
And then super tired of like it being sad. And then I got to a whole new world or whatever. Some other thing happened and it got fun. Like I just did a bunch of side missions, like stuff that wasn't save the world or someone's dying and you have to go, help them. And that was fun. It reminded me of Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. Like, oh, I'm just having fun with side missions. So I had a chocobo and I could ride chocobo. I was definitely, I think this whole episode now is double-edged sword because I was like, I'm so out of this game again. I don't want to do this Game of Thrones darkness and it's taking so long to get through the story. But also the combat is fun and I'm kind of in. How I ended on it is I did nope out again because a little game that I'll talk about on this show called Fallout 4 came out. Well, not came out, but came back into view for me. And that took all my time. So Final Fantasy 16 is a problem because they did so many good things. I wanted to talk about on the show just to remind people that I think there is a good solid 8.5 game here, but it's just covered in a lot of darkness, a lot of Game of Thrones-ness, and a lot of just long cutscenes. Like, it's so hard because they did that thing where you can't skip line by line.
Oh, I hate that.
So you have to skip the whole thing or not.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck you. I just want to skip parts of it, So you have to watch all of it. And man, oh man, it's an epic tale. And I don't want to go through all of it right now because it's like, talk about lore. Holy shit. There's a character in your like hub town where all she does is tell you lore. And she has like new lore that gets updated because you're like there's like a map. You know what I mean?
Updated lore. That's a pretty good name for a podcast.
Updated lore, it's good. And you have to like go learn about the factions. And I'm like, no. Just tell me what to kill. So, man, oh man, I hate that game. Hate it.
Interesting. All right.
But I just wanted to bring it back to the show because I want people to like it. Like,
remember
don't
that
sleep
it
on
exists.
It. Yeah,
exactly.
It's like an 8 or 8.5 though. It's so crazy.
All right. Final Fantasy 16. there it is, back again.
Yeah, that's the last time we'll talk about it.
All right, fair enough. Let me move on to a game called 20 Minutes Till Dawn. This is on the Switch. Got a code from the publisher. Thank you very much. This is a... What is it? I talked about it last week briefly, but I didn't have enough time to really sink my teeth into it. So I promised everybody I would bring it back this week after playing some more, which is exactly what I did. This is a Vampire Survivors-like. And Carlos, have you heard the term bullet heaven as a new genre? Have you heard that or not?
Oh, there's bullet hell.
Yeah, but the opposite of that.
And I guess I don't know bullet heaven.
People are trying to tell me that instead of calling them Vampire Survivors-likes or Survivors-likes, to call them bullet heavens, and I'm not buying it. Are you buying that?
I mean, if it's a bullet hell type game, it will never be heaven in my book. It'll be always terrible.
Yeah.
I have to avoid projectiles. Is that the style of game?
I don't know. I don't know how they even got onto it. That to me feels like a try-hard thing that doesn't conceptually work for me. So I'm canceling bullet heaven. That's just not.
I am canceling it right now, just hearing it for the first time.
Okay,
because
good.
if you're dodging projectiles that are millions of projectiles on screen, that's hell.
Yeah.
How is that heaven?
I don't understand how they got there.
Okay,
Anyway,
we reject that term.
Yeah, reject, cancel, done. I'm just going to call these Vampire Survivors likes or Survivors likes because that makes a lot more sense to me. And that's what this is. It's on the Switch. It's kind of got this really like low color, like grayish, black and whitish kind of presentation, which I think is kind of stylish. You start off with one character. She's a lady. And in fact, all the characters are ladies. But it's not TNA or anything. You get little portraits or something. Each one has a different gun or different ability. There is a skill tree that is persistent, which I appreciate. You can unlock little skills that apply to your characters. For example, they'll be like, plus 5 damage, or you can take a shield hit or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but there's a bunch of powers you can unlock as you go. And it's also a roguelike, just kind of like Vampire Survivors, where you'll get some weapons sometimes, and sometimes you won't, and sometimes you get something with a synergy, and sometimes you won't. So I think if you know what Vampire Survivors is like, and I think probably most people do, certainly most people listening to this podcast probably have tried it at least once, I'm guessing, or you've seen a YouTube video or something. It's basically the same thing, just like with slightly different tweaks. The tweaks being the unlock system is slightly different, and the character system is slightly different. But by and large, I mean, you're talking about kind of the same experience. So I put some more time into it, and I think it's okay. I think it's all right. I think finding some combinations when they worked was really fun. I got this one combination where every time you emptied your clip, if you had a gun, then like this like ability would shoot off and it would hurt everybody on the screen. So that was kind of fun. So I ended up trying to spec where I had as small as clip as possible to like empty my clip quickly. And I wasn't really even going for gun power. I was trying to get the gun empty, rapidly. So all of the powers I chose were kind of like leaning in that direction, which is kind of a fun thing to build. Like, finding a good synergy or finding a good combination that works really well is kind of fun. Mm-hmm. So that was a nice little build. But the runs don't feel very different. I ended up finding maybe 2 types of builds that worked for me. Maybe there's more, but as I was experimenting, I kept seeing the same power-ups over and over, and I kept kind of going for the same builds that were trying to work, because it does get pretty hard. And I think that while this is a fine enough game, I think one thing that this developer really fundamentally misunderstands about this genre and gets wrong is the enemies. The enemies are really important on this. And one thing that I think Vampire Survivors doesn't get enough credit for is the pacing of how the enemies hit you. Because everybody sees a video and they see there's 1,000 enemies on screen. Yeah, there is. But it doesn't start off that way. It starts off with a couple enemies, then you get a breather, then the mobs get a little bit bigger, then you get a breather. Having a little bit of pause here and there is so key. And this developer doesn't seem to get that, because once the enemies start, it's just like a constant stream. Mm-hmm. You don't get a breather. You don't get a chance to run around. So if you don't get some kind of AoE power or some kind of effective build quickly enough, you're just over. I lost a lot of runs really quickly on because I couldn't figure out good synergies. And you weren't getting that breather of where you can just okay, they stop coming for a second. I can run through real fast and maybe get some more experience, or I can, try to do something real fast. I think they don't get that you need to have these pauses, these lulls, these ebbs and flows in the gameplay, just to kind of give you a minute, a mental pause for a second.
Yeah, and by the way, just to that point, that becomes the bullet heaven. I can see what they mean by that. When you get to the flow state, we talk about this on the show a lot, in a game, like in Vampire Survivors, that flow state, I won't call it heaven, but it feels...
we canceled that. We're not saying
it. But it can feel like the flow state in games can feel good. Sure. And what you're talking about is getting that right.
Yeah.
And it sounds because that's an unsung hero from Vampire Survivors, that they get it perfect.
Yeah, they nail it. Like it's pretty amazing in that game. So I think it looks so simple, and everybody thinks, oh, this is so basic and stuff. But actually, I'm sure that like hundreds and hundreds of hours went into refining the timing and the pace and the flow of everything. I mean, it all just works, and the fact that it works so well is not an accident. So I want to give due credit to Vampire Survivors. We're seeing way more Vampire Survivors likes these days, and most of them just don't get that same magical feeling. And I think there's a lot of good here. I mean, I think the concepts are solid. I like the character design. I think this is a good idea, but like it just needs some refinement in the formula. A little bit change up in how you get the synergies, and definitely like changing in the pace of the enemies. Like just having this constant like nonstop swarm over and over and over is just kind of, you would think on paper it's the same as Vampire Survivors, but boy, it sure isn't. It feels very different to me, and it feels like it's coming up short in that one. So I thought it was okay. Not terrible. I've definitely played worse, but I mean, when you measure up against the game that kind of like created the genre, it comes up short, and I don't think it brings up enough new stuff to the table to really kind of take my attention away from Vampire Survivors.
All right, it reminds me of us talking about Souls games, and like, if you don't do it that way, and you're trying to do it that way, then
unless you're going to do a completely different direction, you've got to like nail what you're doing, which would be like a Lies of P, right? Lies of P leans into Souls-like, but they actually know what they're doing. They do it in some ways even better than From, I think. So they can do that without being too different. But like otherwise, you're better off doing like a Neo or something where it's like kind of same, but also pretty different. So I think that any Survivors like that comes down the pike, you're probably better off doing something more different than trying to follow too closely in their footsteps of Ponkel, the developer of Vampire Survivors. So anyway, it was okay, but I don't know. It kind of got like, I don't want to say tiresome, but I feel like I got worn out pretty quickly playing that game, and it didn't have that one more game hook to me. I kind of just got tired of playing it. So if that makes sense.
Yep.
All right, that was 20 minutes till dawn. Next, we are talking about an anticipated RPG coming from Down Under, Australia. It's called Broken Roads. The first game from a small team. I think they're called Drop Bear Bites, I'm pretty sure. It's a isometric, post-apocalyptic RPG with a morality system, a lot of conversation and dialogue, pretty complex quests going on, set in Australia. I'm playing it, you playing it. Carlos, let's talk about Broken Roads.
And Drop Bear Bites is correct. And yeah, I don't know if it's the first game, but we don't see many games set in Australia.
Oh, no, that all by itself is pretty notable. Like, barely ever do we get Australian games. Yeah. And this is not even just like it's in Australia. Like, this is Australian as fuck, dude. Like, they got the lingo, and they have the little glossary that tells you what the Australian words mean, although they need to put more of those in because a lot of those I didn't know what they meant. There's like emus and kangaroos walking around the backgrounds.
There's definitely some kangaroos,
They got the hats that have the little cork on a string that's like the Australian fly keep away hat. I don't know what they're called, but like that kind of hat. Yeah. This is super Australian, dude, like for real. So
that's the subtitle of its games. Super Australian.
Super Australian for real, yes.
There's a lot to like here. I think my whole episode, like I just said, is the double-edged sword episode.
Okay.
Mostly, actually. Maybe not the last game. But yeah, like this is Disco Elysium in Australia.
Yeah, I've heard other people say that, and I think I kind of agree. It really does remind me a lot of Disco Elysium, but more approachable, I think.
With more approachable and also with more XCOM, right? Like this is straight up. I forgot Disco Elysium.
See, it's funny you say that because I think we're gonna differ on that real quick, but not in the way that you think. But keep going.
Well, in the fact that like just real quick for remembrance for us and the audience, Disco Elysium combat, I like plumb forgot what it was. It was turn based.
Is there even combat in Disco Elysium?
Is there combat in Disco Elysium?
I don't even remember any combat in Disco Elysium.
You played it longer than I did. You should remember.
I played it longer than you did, but it was a long time ago, and I had to stop because there was a lot of reading, and I was too busy at the time, and I didn't have the mental bandwidth. So I like it, and it's on my short list to get back to, but I didn't finish it, and honestly, I don't remember any combat in that game.
Hold on. I'm literally typing in Google. Does Disco Elysium have combat?
Okay, real-time Googling.
Doesn't have any combat.
Okay, that's what there we go.
Well, and it says you'd expect in a traditional RPG. Yeah. So, okay, so that's what I'm saying. It's Disco Elysium with Australia, with XCOM, more like
there's
turn-based.
Definitely combat. Yeah, there's definitely combat in Broken
And you
Roads.
do it early on. Like, they're like, hey, go do this thing, and there's raiders, right? And you do it early on. By the way, the first pain point, again, top down, it looks like Disco Elysium, the graphics and stuff. And I think all looks pretty good. kind of cartoony. They go cartoony angle.
I like the vibe. It works for me.
Yeah.
I like it.
But the first thing I didn't like, and I will jump more overview of it, first thing I didn't like is they make you do target practice, I think after your first battle.
It's different, dude. We gotta start even further back than that because what background did you pick? There's 4 different backgrounds.
I know. Just let me say this and get this out of the way.
Go ahead.
I'll just say that target practice is bullshit. That's all. Because it's like I kept missing. And I was like, I'm not that bad at this. What's going on?
I did not have that experience at all.
Really? Okay.
We'll get to that in a second. But I think
okay, so you can pick the whole idea of this game, and I think the standout feature is not just the effects of what we just called it and the genre, but there's a morality system, which games have tried to do and done successfully and unsuccessfully.
Sure.
I like this one quite a bit, actually. It's got like a little graph, and as you pick your first main character, similar to Ultima, which is an old school throwback, Ultima 4, Shroud of the Avatar, where you choose answers to questions that makes your character. And other games have done that.
Yeah,
right?
They give you that personality. Like, what would you do in this situation? That'll define what kind of person you are.
Right. You know? So they do that, and then you see yourself being placed on this graph, like what you're going to be. A nihilist,
humanist,
utilitarian.
Nihilist, yeah.
And I think I landed in the utilitarian, mostly utilitarian, where I'm like, I kind of want to help a bunch of people. Mm-hmm. I think I had nihilist undertones. Or like, I'll try for a while. And then, I think I picked that weird name as a character. What's that? Jabadook?
Jackaroo?
Jackaroo, that's it.
Jackaroo. That's kind of the jack of all trades, is from what I understand, yeah.
Which seems similar to my own person. So I was a Jackaroo. What were you? Do you remember?
I picked the barter expert or the trader because, and I'll tell you why. Because I heard from early coverage of this game that it's possible to do like a fully, what do you call, pacifist playthrough. Yeah. And I wanted to play a game where my choices actually mattered. And that was like another thing that they were hyping up was like the choices matter, characters matter. So I'm like, okay, my normal tendency would be to lean into like a combat, but I'm like, no, I'm going to do something different this time. I'm going to go into like charisma, intelligence, and I'm going to lean into like the softer skills, not the combat skills. And so I chose the bartering expert.
Which is funny because you made it more like Disco Elysium.
I did. Yeah, I did.
I'm sorry. I am eating in the podcast. I have to.
Oh, man. Apologies to John at Gaming the Wild because he hates it when you do that.
Oh, my goodness. It's just like a little bit of a chocolate thing?
I don't know.
For some protein? Okay.
He had a pretty strong aversion to it.
Hold on. This is just for him then. Hold on.
Okay. Oh, rude. So rude.
Okay, that's it.
I can't believe you did that. Oh, my God.
It was just for him. It's his present.
Yikes.
So you made it more like Disco Elysium, but there is combat in this, and it's quite...
There is.
Extensive. You can do a lot of like XCOM-y type combat. And yeah, when I got to the shooting range, I did miss a lot. I don't know why. But you're saying you didn't. Why?
Well, okay, so let's just back it up a little bit. So apparently you start in different places doing different things when you pick your different characters. So from what I understand, every character has a different starting point.
Oh, that's where you wanted to go back.
Where did you even start when you picked Jackaroo? Like, where were you?
Wait, maybe that explains why behind the scenes you and I were texting and you were stuck somewhere.
I was
and
totally
like,
stuck.
I'm not stuck at all.
I was stuck on the very first quest. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I can't figure this out. And I asked you, and you had no idea what I was talking about. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know what you're talking about? This is the first quest. And then I'm like, oh, we don't begin in the same place. We have different starting quests.
So I started in, I don't know where the area was, but it was a place we were worried about people attacking us. And then there was like a town. And so it's all kind of like a dream to me. But there were attackers, and we had to fight them off in the beginning. So I did combat right away. And that was your very first scene? Well, very soon after. It was like, go help defend this area, and I had to go do that.
No. That was okay. That's not.
And one person died, I think, in that, and then we beat them, and then after I beat them, we went back to town, and then we talked about potentially leaving, going somewhere else. That's why I remember that's the part you were stuck on, I think. But
okay, so that's different.
That's why we started differently. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so I picked the trader. I start in this little. It's not the main town. It's like a small town outside of the main town or something, and it's like a little trading post. And you're just talking to people. Like, you just walk around and talk to people. Like, you have to figure out how to wheel and deal. Like, there's a little chain quest where, like, this person wants a sign that's shaped like a cat. And the only way you can get that is by giving nuts and bolts to this other guy because he's got the sign. But he wants, some piece of machinery this other guy got. And so you got to figure out how to talk to these people and do the bargaining. So, like, that part was fine. Like, I got through that no problem. But then you get to this part where they're like, okay, so go grab your goods and let's go. And I'm like, where the fuck are my goods? And I didn't understand where they were. And it kept saying, get your stuff from the cart and let's go. I'm like, okay. And I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do the combat tutorial, which is ironic because I ended up killing 2 people before I even took the combat tutorial. And I was trying to go for a pacifist playthrough. So I was like, oh, well, I already fucked that like 5 minutes into the game. So that's screwed.
That's why, by the way, your text now makes sense when you say 2 people died already. And I don't know where to go because you were trying to be a pacifist.
Yeah, I was trying to be pacifist. I didn't want to fight them, but I stumbled into it, you know, again, before the tutorial. I couldn't leave the town. I was super stuck. And I actually even had to email the PR person to be like, look, I'm trying to give your game a fair shake and I don't understand what's going on here. So the developers were kind enough to send me a screenshot and I'm like, oh, okay. But that was like a really bad way to get off, wrong foot off.
Yeah.
Whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. I got off on the wrong foot with this game, which kind of leads me to some of my main complaints about it. But I didn't get to combat except for those 2 accidental deaths until much later. So there's like a lot of talking, a lot of like debating with people, a lot of negotiating. So it sounds like a very different start than yours.
And let me circle back now because just speaking of it, you know, we play so many games, we forget. A lot of our games that we play feel like a dream because we play so many. But now I remember I started a farm and I was like a farmhand and I was like, I just want to do combat. And they made me like do like pick up manure and shit. Like literally pick up shit.
Sure. Yeah.
But then there was this funny moment, by the way, going back to comedy, where there was a sheep that got his head stuck in a fence.
Okay.
And I had to get the sheep out, and I did by pushing his head through the fence or whatever. But then he went and put his head back in the fence again, so he just keeps getting it stuck. But there's like some comedy and some that kind of stuff and some farm work, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to not play this game anymore, you know, because if it's just all Disco Elysium talking, which is the opposite, you know, reaction I had to you. I didn't want to talk. But then they rewarded me with raiders, and I got to do some combat, and I liked it. And then we went to a huge town, and then it was like you said, we talked to a ton of people, right? I went to a bar. I had a lot of like big moral decisions between people. And so it felt like Disco Elysium then. And then, without a spoiler, but a huge event happens that I mean is like changes the whole game.
Yeah.
And you had to leave and go somewhere else. And that's where I thought you were when you were stuck.
No.
And by the way, the answer to get out of that thing was I had to lie to somebody. And I don't like lying to people in games.
It sounds like we're having very different experiences.
Which is cool.
Yeah, which is very cool because what you're describing, like bits and pieces of that sound similar, but overall, the overall shape of it sounds very different than what I'm doing. Like not to spoil anything, but like, you know, I haven't done any combat at all except for that very first part in the town that I stumbled into before I did the tutorial, which I didn't even want to do in the beginning. So there's been no combat. I have just been talking to people, investigate. I did a lot of investigation, a lot of searching things, meeting new people, and like coming to agreements. So it sounds like we were having wildly different experiences on this, which is good, which is very interesting.
And they bill it as a non-linear.
It
game.
feels very non-linear to me.
Yeah, I mean, like literally, I was like rescuing people from burning buildings. I'll throw that out there.
I have not done that.
Right. I'm fighting people. These are all kind of like pro things for people to check out. Like there was someone that was imprisoned. I had to like decide if I was going to let them out or not. Like,
okay, I did meet that guy.
Oh, you did? Okay. Yeah, but it feels like Fallout.
It does. Like old school
Fallout 1 and 2. And it feels like Disco Elysium. And it has that kind of XCOM-y combat. So there's a lot to like here. I feel like the only times I was wanting to nope out was when it felt a little slow, you know? And I was like, or lost. Because I think there is an issue. If you got lost, I definitely got lost in a couple of spots where I was like, I don't know what to do. So there's a little of that, I think, in this game.
Yeah. That's a perfect intro because so like so far, like I'm absolutely on board with this. I think the Australian setting is really cool. I like the approach of this world, like the Fallout feel. It almost feels like anything can happen. Not that you have that much freedom in what you can do, but it feels like they're not afraid to like have characters come and go. Like they're not afraid. I mean, I've had several people die already who I thought were going to be characters, and like there's like lots of death, and so there is comedy, but there's also like a darkness to it, which kind of gives it like a little bit of a realistic edge. But I think it's good, it's excellent. So it feels like there's many different ways to go, many different choices. I'm already seeing places where my earlier decisions have come to have some effects later on down the road. They limit what options I can choose, which is good. I like all those things. Those are great. And it definitely doesn't feel like you're on a path. Like I feel like there's lots of ways to go. So those are all excellent things, like the setting, like the graphics, all that stuff. My only issues with the game so far. So number one is my own personal issues. This week was like hella busy for me, so I didn't have enough time to really like dive into it the way I wanted to, the way that I think it deserves. Honestly, it seems like a game that you really got to sit down and just kind of like marinate in for a while, which I plan to do. But the other thing that I don't like about it is just like mechanical production side stuff. Like I think all the other stuff is good. Like I like the story, voice work is good, like all that stuff is nice. But the things that I don't like about it are like the menu system. I think the menu system is ass. I think it's terrible. I want a button that just goes straight to the map because I need to look at the map pretty often. The D-pad on PlayStation is completely unused as far as I can tell, which is like, why? There's like at least 4 inputs, if not more, you're not using. Why are you not using those? Because I don't like having to hit the menu button and then I push the shoulder button 4 times to get to the map.
Oh, that's right. To get to the map is very difficult.
Oh,
that's
sucks.
silly.
And like you need to look at the map all the time, right? And like when you're in the menu screen, in order to get to like the equipment stuff, you got to click the R3 button. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Why are you doing like literally look at any other RPG in the world right now that's on the PlayStation. You don't have to do all this. There's other ways to do this that make more sense. So that part sucks. I actually hate the UI. I hate the menus. Those are terrible. I do think also there's a problem with discoverability or visibility in the world in that whenever you get to a new area, it's like fog of war darkened and you can only see what's in front of you, which is okay. But then I end up going to like walking in a big square around every map because I need to illuminate the map to see what's there. But the problem is that sometimes it's easy to walk by things that you need and you don't see them, which is exactly why I got stuck on the very first map. There was a very small section where I needed to get close enough to this area, and if I got close enough, a little tiny white square or circle would have popped up, and then I would have known to click on it. But it should be highlighted. It should be glowing, or there should be a little star above it or something. I get that that's gamified or whatever, and I think that maybe they want you to feel like you are searching more often than you are in other RPGs. I get that, but also quality of life. Like I need to see the things that are important. I need to get to the things quickly. I need to know where things are. When I look at the map, I want you to tell me exactly where those things are. I want to see like more names on the map, or just, it's that kind of thing where it's like, it just saves me the time of having to like search blindly for stuff, or like I forget where stuff is, or just like highlight, like surface things more clearly so that I can go and find them and click on them, rather than kind of like, it almost feels like I am, pixel hunting feels a little bit extreme. Like it almost feels like when you're pixel hunting on like an adventure game where you're kind of like randomly clicking to see what's clickable and what you can interact with. I kind of feel like I'm doing that a little bit in here, which I don't think serves the game. I don't think that's really what they want you to go for, and I don't think it really works that well. So that part is annoying to me. I've overlooked a few things a few times where I get stuck. I come back, oh, I walked right by this thing. I didn't notice this thing was here. Damn it. I wish I would have saw that 5 minutes ago or whatever. So it's not terrible, but I feel like this game is so good in other ways. I just really need them to like have the mechanical side and the UI side be as good as the rest. And I think it would be like pretty amazing so far.
Yeah. And tied to that idea, the thing that bothered me the most was in general, it being a literal point and click navigation.
Yeah.
Come on. You already ported it to console. Just give me the controller support. Like,
yeah, I agree.
It seems like there's literally no point in that. Besides the fact that like maybe they want you to, like you said, hunt and peck and find things you can click on. But there's other ways to do that, right?
Yeah.
So that was my biggest pain point. Starting the game, I was like, I'm out. Like I don't want to play this game, because similar to like point and clicking games you and I have talked about. Also, I vowed on this show never to play them again in general, right? Like I don't play those games. You not heard me talk about them on the show.
That's very true. That's very true.
So because they bother me, and especially have those. Sometimes I'll play one here and there when they have those highlighted things. Like to your point, like if you can see everything on the map,
push a button and everything highlights on the map. Yeah, that's a smart move.
And so I was doing the same thing you said. I like literally was going to the edge of the square. It's not open world in that way.
Yeah, the edge of the screen and just seeing how far you can go.
just seeing what's there. And that took up time, and it wasn't fun, and I didn't like point and clicking to move. Yeah. So, and literally like when you're like, you just point and click somewhere and you like hope that he's showing up at some point, like, you hope your character's arrives.
The camera doesn't track it very well, and it just feels like I would much rather directly control my character with like the left stick.
Yep.
Seems like that's probably a thing that can happen. So again, it's not even like the concept is great. I think the dialogue is great. I think the story choices have been very gripping so far. I really like it a lot. I just think that like how they ported it is not great, and I think that part is kind of like slowing down my enjoyment a little bit, just because the mechanical stuff you got to trudge through. But I mean, honestly, that's not enough to deter me from playing this game, and it's not even enough to really dampen the fun I'm having with it. I just kind of wish they had done it slightly differently.
It's true, and I think we're both like recommending it. And
yeah, it is a recommend. Solid.
I'm still going to play it, but if they all of a sudden throw an update where I can use my freaking controller to move my character, I would be very excited.
Yeah, I would love an update. I would love if the circles that you're supposed to see. Developers, if you're listening, please listen to this. The circles that you click on to look at stuff, just have them highlighted all the time and make them like yellow or something so they stand out a little bit more. That would be a big time saver already, just so I could know really quickly and not have to like hike my character back and forth all across each screen trying to hope to find something that's interactable with. That feels like a waste of time, like you said, Carlos. So maybe just like little tweaks like that would make it slightly more playable in a quality of life sense. But otherwise, I feel like they're firing on all cylinders here. Like a lot of this is like pretty gold so far.
A lot of it's really, really good. Still
recommend.
It's
really good. Yeah,
and,
recommend.
Hoping for a little slight changes.
Yes, quality of life tweaks. Let's have them. Otherwise, still a great game though. And I'm sure we're going to talk about this again. I'm going to keep playing it. I need much more time on this game, but so far, definitely a thumbs up. It's just a little bit of like, slight bummer with that stuff. So, all right, that was Broken Roads. We'll bring it back to the show, I'm sure. Closing out the show, the main portion here, Carlos. Fallout 4. Now, I was going to say, I don't know why you're bringing it to the show, but I actually do know why you're bringing it to the show, which I'm sure we are going to be talking about in the post-game, non-game section before we wrap up. So we'll get to that in a second. But Fallout 4, you went back to it. Tell us all about it, sir.
Well, obviously, no surprise. The Fallout TV show is out on Amazon Prime. For better or for worse, I can't tell yet, but they
really?
No. The next sentence is what I mean.
Okay.
For better or for worse, they put out the whole thing all at once.
For better.
I think for better. For you specifically.
For me, specifically for better.
But for me, I definitely love it so much that it's hard not to binge it. And I want to savor it because I'm also going back to Fallout 4. So what the show did, without saying too much right now, is it's excellent. I mean, like fucking excellent. And it just totally makes you want to go back to play something Fallout. They very smartly made Fallout 76, which I don't really like, but they made it free. So they're like, of course. And they just announced 2 days ago that Fallout 4 will finally get its next-gen update on the 25th of this month. They could have put it out.
They haven't done that yet?
What was that?
They haven't done that
yet? No. We've all been waiting for it, us Fallout fans.
Have we? Okay.
Yes. Right. Like the PS5 true 60 frames per second, like beautiful update, it's not happened. And there's been no reason. They've been working on Starfield, and all those other things.
So that was wasted effort.
It kind of was. Anyways, shots fired. So we're getting that on the 25th. So basically, I'm like holding on to the last 2 episodes, or maybe the last episode, till that comes out, because I kind of don't want to finish the series until I have that update. I don't know. Just me. Okay, so the TV show's excellent. It made me go back to Fallout. I love all the Fallout games. We already talked about on the show. A 76 asterisk, not really. And I actually have always liked 4 better than 3. And I know that's kind of like,
that's interesting.
Crazy talk, but I like it a lot because, it was the best and like most newest iteration of the Fallout world, even though it had that building stuff, which I didn't want to do. And I just didn't do generally when I played the game the first time. I just like its world. I like its characters, and I just liked existing in that Fallout world they made. Of course, I liked 3, and I played it and beat it. But yeah, 4 I probably spent the most time in. I went back to Fallout 4, downloaded it, looked at the hours I played. It said 175 hours. So I had played the game, beat all the DLC. I think I told you this in text. I tried to download my save data. And it didn't work. Like it was from the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't care because I really did want to restart it because, I just wanted to kind of go back and live that world. So I did a new playthrough, which I never do in games like that. That's an epic game,
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's a huge task.
And I could talk about it for a long time, but the short version is this. It's so fucking good. And I don't think you recognize until you go back, maybe you even like try it again, because there's 2 reasons why I'm so excited about it. There's 3 reasons. 1, because the TV show's come out. That's cool. And it's a great companion piece.
I know you like your multimedia.
Yes. 2, because the simpler version is because it's so not Starfield. And it reminds me of why I did love Bethesda.
I mean, I like anything that's not Starfield. So
Well, yeah, but it's just
like moss,
shit.
bugs,
You're throwing shots all over the place.
anything that's not Starfield, I'm down with.
But
yes.
here's my point: is that there was such a bad taste in a lot of our mouths from Starfield, and this just reminds you again of all the people that worked at that company. They have love for their brand. They love making games, and Fallout 4 is the love of making games. Like every little teeny little side mission is interesting or important or funny. I mean, talk about comedy. There's comedy in this fucking game. Like it's subtle, there's like horrific stuff too. There's like your dark stuff that happens and crazy over the top, bloody stuff. But then there's heart too. It's crazy. It's just crazy because I've played now like 30 hours of it, back and just doing all these missions and going like, I can't believe how much is in this game. It really is a world that you want to be in. On top of that, this is really the biggest thing. That VAT system, which is real time with turn-based, and of course combat, and with me being melee, one of my favorite things in the world. There is no other game, and you and I play all games. There is no other game. This is a crazy sentence that does combat that's almost as enjoyable to me as that one, because I love melee. You can keep upgrading your strength. You make your character like literally blow people up with your sword or baseball bat or whatever. But you can choose the VAT system and, target and basically just, it's a flow state, like we said earlier. It's a flow state of going real time, stop, do turn-based, watch animation. And it's like slow motion taking their arm off with the baseball bat, right? Go back to real time. Jump, dodge, jump, swing. Go back to turn-based. Slow motion animation. There's something to that I've never experienced in any game. We can just talk to that for a second. Do you know what I mean by that combat style?
Oh, I mean, I like the VATS combat style. I mean, I've played every Fallout game, I believe, except for Fallout 76. I didn't spend any time on because that was just the MMO type thing. But I've played the rest. I know what you're talking about.
3 had the same thing where you did real time with turn based, but I feel like 3 was more turn based than even real time. I think 4 does the mixture.
It's tough to say because I did play 4 and I didn't like it. So it's I played it when it came out. I haven't been back to it since. Maybe my feeling would be different now, but I remember just not clicking with it for a variety of reasons. It was really buggy and janky. Even for a Bethesda game, I'm sure it's probably better by now. They've probably patched it a bunch of times, but I didn't like the base building stuff. I didn't think the quest started out really well, and it just felt like way too much combat. I felt like they were leaning too much into the combat and not enough into the other RPGs. My favorite Fallout is New Vegas, so I didn't feel like they were up to that standard, which is admittedly a high standard to meet. So I noped out of it pretty quickly. But what I remember about VATS in general, not specifically Fallout 4, but just like, you get into combat, you go into VATS, which stops everything. You target either the arm that they're holding the gun in or the head to do a headshot, and you just kind of like wash, rinse, repeat. So it works well, but it's not something that I was like, oh, I love this so much. I was just like, okay, this works, and I'm dealing with this. But it's not. It didn't quite give me the joy that it seems like it's giving you.
Well, here's why. I only do melee in Fallout games, so I've never ever touched a gun.
So that would be a big difference because I do melee, but not near as much as you do.
Yeah. So what it does is there's a really special feeling, specific if you like melee, but in general, that you'll never get from the gun. Because I wasn't even in targeting body parts really. You just like kind of like attack. You choose like enemy and you say hit with baseball bat or whatever, or sledgehammer, and so you're basically like just going, like I said, back and forth quickly. So it's not like targeting and slow. It's like swing in real time, hitting enemies, right? Then you just left click and you go and pick target, watching animation, then go back to real time combat. Anyways, I don't need to belabor the point, but it is a beautiful flow state. And then the other thing is this, again, it's just this world building. I think you could go back and give it another shot because it just does everything that Starfield doesn't. And I have to shots fired on that because... Wow.
Oh, I fully agree. Even me saying I noped out and didn't like it that much, I fully agree Fallout 4 does world building better than Starfield does. So yes, we're on the same page.
It's just like that. I think by playing 4, and I'm just going to play it until the next gen upgrade comes out, and then I'm going to beat it, and I'm going to keep playing it because it's a world I just really like. What that does, or what that did, is it made Starfield's reveal that much worse for us. Like, I'm finally realizing that, you know, when you and I were like down on it, I was like, why am I so down on it? I love Bethesda. I love jankiness. I like whatever. That flow state system wasn't there, right? That I'm doing in 4 with combat. It was not there. And the world building wasn't there. And the side missions weren't interesting, or I didn't care about any of them. And in this one, in like just 3 hours, and that's why I say you could go back, because it doesn't have to be combat focused. I did more like interesting, heartfelt, weird, robotic monster missions, you know, and that it was like a whole world versus Starfield's like very specific, like just go do this thing, you know.
Right.
It's like, no, this is like a breathing world with like, you know, citizens, you know, and a mayor and a fucking like a drama going on in this one town. And then there's like a cemetery and there's a witch over in the other place. Like, it just feels like the best version of what you can get of an RPG. And that's why I made this statement. It's actually, I think it's better than Skyrim.
I mean, I would probably agree with that too. I hear what you're saying, and I'm not the biggest Skyrim fan in the world. In fact,
know you're not, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have my love-hate relationship with Bethesda. We don't need to get into that. It's like a whole podcast into and of itself. But I believe that. I mean, what you're saying makes sense to me. I don't doubt any of it. I think it just didn't click with me at the time. I don't know that it would click with me now, because New Vegas was just such an amazing experience for me. Like, it's really hard to like supplant that, and I didn't feel like 4 was really even going for the same thing. It wasn't quite the same.
It wasn't going for the same thing. That's why you probably won't like it, and that's
I probably
fine.
won't like it. Yeah,
yeah,
which is totally fine. But I hear what you're saying, and I even understand and agree. So I get you for sure.
And New Vegas, by the way, I liked, but I do like 3 and 4 better because that's the style of game I like better. Right? Like, I want to just like kind of, just kind of explore. I feel like when Bethesda did games that I enjoyed, it was about that emergent gameplay, and also not just emergent gameplay and random fucking shit. Like, you could just walk on a planet for 8 miles and see nothing. It was about these crafted experiences. You meet a detective. You meet a detective robot, right? In the beginning of that game. Yeah. You go on, like, after you do your main mission with him, you can do like detective stories with him, you know? And there's companions that you care about. Like, he's one of them. And I have Piper with me right now, and she's like a journalist. And she wrote a story about me. I mean, I could go on, but when you play that game, and we're done with the show, I know, but when you play that game and you actually like just kind of relax in it and just kind of let it unfold, there's so many little layers to it that it doesn't feel like anything like Starfield, doesn't feel like Skyrim. It just feels like this thing that you want to exist in.
Well, let me ask you. So
I love it.
You're kind of like, I don't have time to play this now, but you're kind of slightly reselling me on it a little bit.
Oh, it's so
the edge of my eyebrow is slightly lifting.
Okay,
like,
that's all I wanted.
A bit. Yeah. That's all you can hope for, really.
Yeah.
But so again, I'm sure that they've patched it to fuck since the last time I played it, because it was new and it was rough and janky. But how much does like the base building come into it now? Because that part really kind of turned me off, and it was mechanically shit, and it was also not super interesting. So if I was interested in doing the detective stories and that kind of stuff, how much forced base building am I going to have to do here?
Leave it. Just leave it all. You don't do shit.
You don't have to do any of it?
It's a side mission that you first get. It's called Sanctuary, the town that you came from.
Yeah.
And I remember I saw it as a miscellaneous mission. It's not a main mission. It's a miscellaneous mission.
Okay.
And I go, I'll just go look and see what they want. And I talked to a guy, and he goes, yeah, build us some beds. And I was like, well, that's humane of me. So
that's
I'll do
the thing
that.
I could do.
Right. Well, I did, and it was fast. And I got some XP. And then he's like, make us some water, like some fresh water. And I go, And then he goes, okay, now do this, make some food over. I go, no, thanks. I got to go, you know?
Yeah.
So I left, and I don't think I'm ever going to have to worry about it, because the main mission, I don't want to say I'm at the end, but I'm like, I'm understanding, minor spoiler. I'm already like in Institute stuff, which is like end game stuff. And I've only played like for 30 hours. So I feel like, yeah, you don't need to fucking do that shit.
All right. Okay. So keep us posted. You know, it's, I think, basically the only mainline Fallout game I haven't finished. And so I would be, you know, there's a small part of me in the back of my brain, like the completionist troll part of me, who's like, oh, I should play that one and finish it. But I'll wait to see, because I don't want to make anybody food. I don't want to like do these other
quests. You don't have to
mess with it. So okay,
yeah.
Well, that's good.
And
the
update is coming out at the end of the month. So I mean, you could poke back
that.
in. Last thing I'll say, and I know I've talked a lot, but I have to say this: the other reason why I want to play it right now and constantly play it is for a TikTok video I'm putting up tonight. So check it out, Glitch Through the Ground. Is I'm doing every response sarcastic.
Oh, like in dialogue choices.
In dialogue choices, they always give you that option. That's one option, always, and almost every single.
Is it labeled, or you just have to know?
It says sarcastic.
It says sarcastic.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And I'm telling you, holy fucking funny. I made a collage of them. That's what's going up tonight.
Okay.
And I'll send it to you in text.
That sounds entertaining.
It's unbelievable. Here's one thing, a sneak peek of what somebody says. They go, I just walked downstairs, all these stairs, and I got to this, quest giver. She's like, are you ready to do some work or, whatever? And he's like, no, I just came down all those stairs for exercise.
Gotcha.
That kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Fucked up that delivery. But anyways, Fallout 4, fucking amazing. Fucking amazing.
All right. Well, let's report back. I wrote this game off a long time ago. I had no intention of coming back to it, but the zeitgeist, the TV show, hearing you come back to it, maybe they fixed it, better graphics. I mean, okay, maybe. We'll see.
Your eyebrow is raised. That's all I can do.
My eyebrow is slightly raised. That's where we ended up on that. So, okay. Fair enough. All right, folks, that is a show. We are now at the end portion of today's episode. Now that we're officially done, we're going to bounce. But before we do, just a couple of non-games things to talk about. I've only got one. Carlos, what do you have? I know you're going to talk about the Fallout TV show, I assume.
Fallout TV show is great. I don't have to say much. Just go watch it. It's on Amazon Prime if you have that.
Okay.
Also, they do, because stupid Amazon's doing commercials. They do one commercial at the beginning, and that's it. So I think that's nice of them.
I mean, we're already paying for it. I don't really need any fucking commercials. I feel
don't
like
need
that's
any.
kind of bullshit.
It is, but the point is, at least they only do one, because I would really freak out if it wasn't.
Fuck.
And so watch that show because it's fucking great, and we don't talk about it yet. Also, Channel Awesome is on YouTube. They do a bunch of things, but I'm obsessed with their Twilight Zone compilation. Okay. So what the guy does is basically cover a whole season of Twilight Zone, which is also on Amazon, by the way, with ads, yes. And you can, basically he just in 5 minutes or 6 minutes goes through the whole episode with the spoiler warning, at the end. And then he'll talk about history or the directors or the actors, and it's fascinating.
Okay.
And so I love that show. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. And I'm just kind of doing the both things. I'm watching it, and then if I haven't seen an episode, I'll go watch the episode on Amazon. It is a hoot. It's called Channel Awesome on YouTube. Twilight Zone.
And would you recommend that only for people who have already seen the full episodes? You wouldn't want to...
No. He does a great job of he sets it up, and then there's a spoiler section. So you could just literally be like, oh, this sounds interesting. I'll go watch it.
Gotcha. Okay. That sounds good.
It's fucking fantastic. Cool.
Yeah. Excellent.
I think that's all I have. Yes, that's all I have.
All right. As for me, just one thing this week. I finally circled back to watching Starship Troopers from Paul Verhoeven. The one from 90 something, whatever year it came out.
Yeah. Talk about companion piece to your Helldivers.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. My kid is really into Helldivers. His friend circle is really into Helldivers. I've been in Helldivers for a while. Wife is into it. And I'm like, son, Mr. Skill Issue, just so you know, this game that you're enjoying so much, number one, it's a parody, so don't lean into the freedom thing. But also, it comes from this really famous movie, and he's like, "Oh, okay, cool." So we popped it on just to do the multimedia thing that you do. And man, I haven't seen it since it was new. I saw it when it was brand new, and in fact, I think I even saw it in the theater. To be honest with you, haven't watched it since then. So I remembered vague bits and pieces of it, and I of course knew that it tied into Helldivers. Helldivers draws a lot of inspiration from this film. But we watched it last night, and I was like, "Damn, I didn't realize how much, exactly how much, beat for beat, visual for visual, note for note that Helldivers takes from Starship Troopers." I knew it was inspired by, but man, we were counting the references to each other as we were watching the movie. Oh, there's that big bug. Oh, there's that gun. Oh, there's that dropship.
Wow.
Oh, there's that thing. It was so close. It was bonkers. So again, kind of like Arrowhead does, Paul Verhoeven, the director of RoboCop, and you can absolutely see the DNA there. If you've seen RoboCop and know how it kind of skewers power structures and hyperviolence and the decadence of the 80s, it's still in Starship Troopers in a different way. The whole point of that is look at fascism and Nazism and how this portrays itself into patriotism and how you see these enemies and how you approach them and how you approach other people. I mean, there's a lot to pick apart in that movie, and I think it's really smart, but it's also really over the top. Like, it's thinky, but it's also bloody, and it's really funny, and it's really just crazy. And so as we're going through this, it was just bonkers. Like, literally, if you squinted your eyes, it was like you were watching Helldivers on the screen. Like, it was pretty crazy. So if you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. If you've played Helldivers, it'll make a lot more sense as to like how these things connect. And it was crazy. You can get it. I think I bought it on Amazon for like $4 or something, which I think is a pretty reasonable price for it to own a movie, or quote unquote own a movie anyway. So
yeah,
it's on all the major services, I believe. And it was just a fucking trip to see like the music is the same, like the way it swells in a battle was the same, some of the things they were shouting out was the same, the level of fatality and brutality and blood was the same. I'm like, okay, I forgot how close it was, but man, they are basically the same IP, dude, like for real.
I don't want to say the word copyright, but
I'm wondering, dude. I'm kind of wondering.
Seems interesting that, yeah.
Oh man, do yourself a favor, and if you like Helldivers, watch this movie if you haven't seen it, and you'll just be like blown away by how much this is Helldivers the movie. So anyway, all right, folks, that is the show. Before we wrap, I want to ask you to please, if you don't mind, if you got a minute, please leave us a review, share us on social media, and most important of all, recommend us to your friends, because nothing beats good old word of mouth. And if you want to support the show and help us out with the cost of running the podcast, you can do that over at patreon.com/the So Videogames podcast. And if you want to join our Discord, it is now free of charge. As always, we would like to get your questions and comments. Hit us up, sovideogamespodcast@gmail.com, or you can hit us individually. Carlos, where are we sending your traffic this week?
TikTok, glitch to the ground. My last video just went, in quotes, viral. I don't know.
Did you put the quotes there?
I put my own quotes in there. Yeah.
Okay.
But no, it went nuts because it was me in Fallout, weirdly enough, not going in the vault in the beginning. And if you just keep going, like down the street, like you cause the explosions to happen.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's
so
funny.
If you want to see that, check it out on TikTok. Glitch to the ground.
Excellent. As for me, it's the same as always. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky. It's my name, BradGallaway, all A's, no O's. And this is going to do it for episode 384. Thank you again for joining us here on the So Videogames podcast, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week. All right.